to be an ordinary school, but inside the business people of tomorrow are hard at work. Hello and welcome. I'm Alison Flinton, the chairperson of our company. We would like you to meet the people concerned in our venture. Welcome to our offices. Our company was formed by our teacher, Mr. Hall, last term. We raised capital by a share issue. To start up, NatWest Bank gave us a £40 grant. We work in 4 groups: financial, market research, publicity and design. The employees were interviewed before they were put into their groups, and company officers were appointed.
I am Susan Alexander. I'm the company treasurer and I have responsibility for the financial group. I coordinated the share issue and I can sign cheques as well as Alison and Rebecca.
My name is Rebecca Dickin. I'm the company secretary. I'm in charge of posting the letters and keeping the correspondence well. I also have responsibility for taking the minutes of the company meetings.
I am Chris Chalmers, the head of design. I have overall control of the design group. So far we have designed the tea towel and some share certificates.
I am John Hewson, head of the financial planning team. Our share issue ran for 8 days and we sold 750 shares at 50p each. We designed the share application form and the tea towel order form. We used a variety of computer programs to aid us and to make it more professional.
I am Melanie Matson, the head of the market research group. We have designed a share questionnaire and we have also designed a questionnaire about the tea towel. We conducted the tea towel survey outside shops in our village.
Director, but we have a chairperson, Alison Flintham. F-L-I-N-T-H-A-M. Treasurer, which is Susan Alexander. We have a secretary, Rebecca Dickin. Yeah. And we have a head of graphic design, Christopher Chalmers. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Hello, I'm Catherine Sanderson, head of the publicity team. I've just been on the phone to Radio Lincolnshire to tell them about our company. At the beginning of this term, we were very busy writing letters to tell people about us. We have also made some posters to publicise us. We made a prospectus about our share issue.
I'm Ben Maskey, the press officer. With Catherine, I'm in charge of all the contacts with the media, namely TV, radio and the press. We have appeared in the Lincolnshire Echo and the Adscene.
Hello, I'm Helen Freeman, the design coordinator. We designed the tea towel many times before we found the right design. We have designed a brochure for the Lincolnshire show. We've also designed this stand.
Welcome to this meeting at 1:15 p.m. I'll quickly read through the agenda. minutes, matters arising, team reports and any other business. Now I'll hand over to Rebecca to read the minutes from the last meeting.
Minutes. The last meeting was held on the 3rd of May 1989. The whole company was present. It was opened at 1:20 p.m.
Line up with you.
I'm here! Good morning. Good morning.
Branston.
Take you on a guided tour, and we'll try and bring in about as much of the history of the Mayflower Pilgrims, as we call them these days. So you probably know them as the Pilgrim Fathers. We get told that obviously that's a bit sexist in this time, because there was women and children there as well. They played a very important part in it. So we tend to call them nowadays, instead of the Pilgrim Fathers, we tend to call them the Mayflower Pilgrims. We get told that, obviously. But they're basically the same people. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick this little map up. If I can find it. If I can find it. Well, I'll hold this. First of all, we'll tell you something. Okay? We're going to tell you, this is obviously a medieval manor house. I don't know whether or not she's doing the Tudors and the Stuarts. Are you not at the time? The Stuarts. Okay. Well, the medieval stuff like, oh, right, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. That's very good. Thank you. Well, we're going to talk, obviously, because without the medieval people, this place wouldn't have been built. If this place wouldn't have been built, then William Hickman, in the 17th century, couldn't have taken it over, at the end of the 16th century, beginning of the century, couldn't have taken it over and allowed sort of like the separatist preachers to come and preach it. And then they went over, obviously, to Holland, then over to America to become the Pilgrim Fathers, or the Mayflower Pilgrims, as we call it today. So I'll tell you something about that. It's a 15th century manor house. It was built roughly about 1460. So how old do you think that makes the building? It was built in 1460. Who's good at maths? 532 years old. Okay, it's 530 years, 2 years old. So it is quite old. That brings in a little rule, I'm afraid, I've got to tell you at the moment. Is that because it's quite old, then we appreciate it if you go around, not so like treat it with any less respect than you would your granny, okay? So don't try kicking it and it's like tugging at things, because we are a biggish group and I can't keep an eye on everybody. So if you do want to touch anything as we go around, then please feel free. We don't. Sound. it at the bottom, okay? So if you imagine it's sort of like they had a print, and if you carried it on, it would go from gone, and go into plants and rocks. It's actually into lizard. So these are quite important people. So how would you greet them? How would you think you would greet them? Don't forget, you've got to have civility. It's very important. These are very, 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 very important people. You bow and curtsy. So if you all want to take one step back, we shall have a little rehearsal of how to bow and curtsy. Okay? So after three girls, imagine you curtsy. I think we'll imagine, don't forget, you're still wearing tunics. Probably tight to the knee, but it will be a little bit more ornate than that. You might have a ruff round the neck. So imagine you've got a ruff, you know what a ruff collar is? Not like things that they used to put themselves around. You know, I think there you go. That's William Hickman's wife. Alright? You can see there what she's wearing. So imagine she's wearing something like that. Don't get Puritans and so like separatists. The word, my lord, you were pleased with that? My lady was pleased with it, but my lord was pleased with that. I think they didn't do it very well. I think some adults at the back weren't joining in. I'm sorry, but I think that they ought to. Okay, so after 3, 1, 2, 3.
Christine, my lord.
Stand on the rope. Talk about the louvered turret. If you look up there, you can see what? Still in situ. You know, something to eat. So it'd all be prepared in here. A nice big kitchen. Certainly William Hickman would have a lot of servants to work in this kitchen. You've told us the kind of food they would eat. There's nothing strange about that, okay? But one thing to say about is, in medieval Tudor times, I'm not quite sure whether or not it's still progressed in Stuart time, but I've got a feeling it's probably changed during towards the, sort of like the English Civil War. Changed like Puritan values. But what it happened in certainly medieval Tudor times was that women were not allowed in the kitchen. Shh, quiet! What happened in medieval is period furniture from the Tudor Stuart times. So if you're around in those times, you know, times of James Stuart, then you will actually see, you might even sleep bed on this. If you ever look at the bed, you'll see how beautifully ornate it is. That's not a flat pack bed from B&Q. If you don't go and get that from MFI on a Sunday and then screw it together, it's very expensive. Beautifully carved, beautifully ornate. Alright? Tells us about, what does it tell us about the person who actually commissioned it? Who actually said, I want a bed like that? What does it tell us about it? It tells us that they're rich, they're powerful, they're influential. Alright? Looking at the bed, a nice big difficult to require. So he's had acorns on to say, look at this bed. It's oak. Oaks are very strong, they're very sturdy, hard, a trusted wood. Right? Battleships were made out of oak. The Mary Rose was made out of oak, even though it sank on its first sail. go from, if you go there, you go from the birth of the separatist movement, and it tells you all about the monarchs and their own sort of like religious views. Be quiet, young man. Own like views there, all right? Tell them the picture of them all. Tells them on, obviously, about William Hicksman's Gainsborough. You want to know about the kind of Gainsborough, that's all I need. You see pictures of William Hickman. Okay, one there. You can see here the Gainsborough and Scrooby separatists. Don't forget there were two separate ones. There was the Scrooby separatists around the Scrooby on the other side of the River Trent towards Doncaster, and then there was the Gainsborough separatists. And they used to have separate. They sort of like meet. Sometimes when the Scrooby ones were persecuted, and they were persecuted, they were stopped. They were said, you know, if you worship what you're going to worship, you'll end up in jail. So they actually walked every Sunday. They actually walked from Scrooby, which is near Doncaster, to Gainsborough to worship here in the Great Hall, and then they walked back again. So you see the kind of commitment that they had to their faith. Okay? And as we say, you can see there how they went to Holland first to get their money together. They were also, it's quite important, they were also economically bribed. James I let them go there. He didn't try and stop them, but he said, you can go there, but you've got to start sending me things back. And then towards the end, towards William Bradford's life, there were £1,800 in debt. Okay? They sent back things like beaver skins and timber and all this. They sent back 3 ships, and every time each ship was raided by pirates. And so the actual things that they were sending back to pay off the debts of actually being out there, the rent, because they said that it was the only reason that James I let them, he said that they still pirates, etc. It's quite an interesting story. So if you want to buy that, then also you've got the map, then you probably find that very interesting, okay? This is the last room we're going to see tonight, excuse me. Sorry. Yes. Alright. Well, let's go through them, right? Brick. Where's the brick? I can't see brick. Wallpaper. I can't see any anti-glipper or wood chip, okay? Wood panelling? Yes. Or plaster? Don't forget it's plaster in the Great Hall when you see it between the actual post, the oak post. But it's wood panelling in here. Now this is not the original colour. In Tudor times when it was put up, it probably would have been green. But when you go around all...
Are you filming?